I'm here to do a flip through of these 3 journals. There are 2 vintage Barbie journals and 1 Donna Parker in Hollywood journal that will be available in my Etsy shop tomorrow, Wednesday. I believe it's the June 16th at 8 p.m. And I have some sped up versions of these videos on my Instagram account if you'd rather have a quick peek. My handle is the same, 11 Dancing Dandelions on Instagram. So I'm going to go through each of these, and then I have another set of 3 that will also be added to my shop tomorrow. So we'll start with the Donna Parker in Hollywood. I have some notes over here with the dimensions. This one is about 7 3/4 by 5.5. The spine is about 2 1/4 inches. There's 3 signatures. This one has 61 pages or 122 front and back. So each of them will come with a tie. I took them off to save time, but it's basically just a tie of fabric. The Barbie in New York summer has this little patchwork tie that I made. This was inspired by Carla Frizzell. If you don't follow her on YouTube, I get a lot of inspiration from her. I like her work a lot. And then the Barbie's Hawaiian holiday has another patchwork. So these will be tied in a bow. This has got some strings here. Will be tied in a bow around. And then for the patchwork journals, I'll probably send, for the patchwork ties, I'll probably send a piece of regular fabric too if you prefer to just tie your journals with some fabric. And then I will be putting together some small ephemera packs for all the journals, this set as well as the next set that I'll show you, to the purchasers of these journals, so you can further customize it and add pockets. I'll put some fabric in there and a few trims and a little bit more ephemera, so that you can kind of customize it further. So once again, we'll start with Donna Parker. Sorry, got a little bit off track here. For this one, I left the cover and the first page very blank, so if you want to add a pocket here, you can, or a pocket here. Everybody is kind of personal with what they want to do, so some of them I added pockets and some of them I didn't. This is just a recipe card that you wouldn't have to put a recipe on, of course. You could just journal on it. And then this is a piece of ephemera from one of the scrapbook paper lines that I used. A little envelope with just a piece of scrapbook paper for journaling or pictures in here. And then a lot of things are clipped on with paper clips. I will be sending along, I know for sure what I will be adding to the ephemera little extras are more doilies, more paper doilies, and I have some paper dolls from a Simplicity counter catalog that I think really fit with the Barbie Donna Parker type theme. But you can use them when you're doing your journaling or your memory keeping to kind of collage where you feel they would fit. So I will be sending some of those along for sure. And then some other things. Just a guest check and another little paper doily. These paper doilies are awesome for putting kind of like behind a picture, just to give some interest. Here's some vintage atlas. This is some scrapbook paper that's a pocket, some vintage stationery. This is kind of like a ledger, but it's very nautical themed. So log of the yacht, it's got the course and the navigator's choice, the weather, the wind, everything, kind of fun to journal on. And then I have some of these little applique flowers throughout. This is a tuck spot. I made tags that were from just the cutoffs, and some of those blue inventory tags. I just put the cutoffs on here and then stitched along the edges. And this is a spot that I think one of those Simplicity ladies would be really cute to collage on there. a little strawberry memo and some buttons. I just added some fabric through the buttonhole just to kind of make it cute. But these buttons I put in here for the intention that you would use them in the journal to decorate it. A little label and a post-it note. This is vintage trim here. A little vintage playing card on the ledger fold out. And this is an extra little flip up for some more journaling or pictures. This is just from the scrapbook paper line. And a vintage yo-yo. I tried to leave a lot of the scrapbook paper empty so that if you want to do photos or whatnot on there, you have plenty of space. This is a vintage postcard. I love this illustration and I love the colors. It's just so cute. I found a few of these on eBay one time, so that was a good find. And then this is just some vintage trim. These are little fuzzy flowers here. I thought the colors went perfect together. A little whale applique. I love this paper. It's kind of a different texture and it's very, very sparkly and pretty. It's kind of a texture I would imagine would be best suited with double-sided tape. And then this is vintage trim. This is newer trim. This is vintage typewriter paper with a vintage coaster. And then there's some magazine images in here. More writing space, scrapbook paper. This is a vintage greeting card. Another little collaged tag, a pocket. This is a vintage bingo card, one of the thicker cardboard ones, and another tag from the scrapbook paper line. This is a pocket here, and also I made a spot for extra journaling or photos. This is some vintage Barbie play money from the Barbie game. This is a little, I can't remember what these books are called, but they're little Barbie outfit books. I cannot remember what the name of those books are called. If I think of it, I'll mention it, but I think they'd be cute to make little journaling cards or collage. A vintage seed packet. A post-it note. This is a fabric pocket that I stitched around, and this is a vintage applique. I believe the person I bought these from on Etsy said that they were from a lingerie company or something. Just a flower garden card that you could alter, and some pieces from the scrapbook paper line. And this is some vintage trim as well. This is a printable. I will have to look that up where that's from because I can't remember. And this is a vintage postcard of a beach scene. Let's see where it is. Daytona Beach, Florida. And some more of that sparkly paper you can play with. And this is an anchor applique here. Just an image from a National Geographic magazine. This is a vintage coaster, but it's more of like a cardboard type coaster. And another paper doily. This is a page from a Sears magazine. It's fun to look at the prices on things. This is a playing card and a little diary with a June date, 1947. Some game money and a ticket. This is a vintage travel journal. Some music paper, more atlas. Some swimming club tickets. This is another post-it note. This is newer trim. I believe I got this from Hobby Lobby. Postcard. I'm not sure. Oh, Lakeside Shore, Lakeside. Oh, I'm not sure where that is, but it's a pretty beachy scene. This is a little tag pocket I made. This is some Swiss dot fabric and an applique, and you could write on the back and stick little things in the pocket. These, I just stuck some pieces of ephemera in here for you to play with. A vintage tally card. I stitched some fabric to this cardstock to create a pocket and put some tags in there. And that is the end of Donna Parker in Hollywood. So I will try to do the next two a little bit quicker because they have a lot of the same elements in them. This is Barbie's Hawaiian Holiday. Measures 8 1/4 by 5 1/4. Has a 2 1/4 inch spine with 3 signatures, 63 pages or 126 pages front and back. I will send a few different trims. I could not decide if I wanted to put a trim along this fabric or not. So I will send a few options with the purchase of this journal in case you want to add it. I ended up thinking that I liked it how it was without any trim, which I usually always add trim, but I will send some in case you decide that you like the trim. And this is a little book plate with another whale applique. And then this is the front page. These are chapter books, so there weren't a lot of images, but the copyright says 1963 and 1958. So the 58 was by Mattel, I guess, and Random House. So I'm not sure if these were 58 or 63, but somewhere around there. So like I said, I'll go a little bit faster. Another Sears catalog because there are a lot of similar elements. This is one of those coasters. Another beach scene postcard. It says Southland. I'm not sure where that is. I did some patchwork fabric. These three were from Vintage Sheets, and this is just some fabric. I don't even know if that was vintage. And then that vintage trim here along the top. We've got a soda label, a post-it note, and some scrapbook paper here. Some pretty daisy trim along the side, vintage stationery, typewriter paper. A lot of blank space to do what you like. Let's see, this is a little bit stuck. And then we've got some more of that little Barbie outfit magazine. Oh, I guess this is from a Barbie magazine. I'd have to look for the cover and see what that's called. I guess check. This is vintage trim here, a vintage yo-yo. Witch hazel label. Just some elements from the scrapbook paper line. There's a library card pocket back here. And one of those blue inventory tags. Little tag from the scrapbook. The Sears catalog page. That cute postcard again, While You Are Out. I'll send a few extras of these too. The postulette. Some more Barbie catalog pages. This is hand-dyed paper. So a little tuck spot here. And then an image from a magazine with a postcard. This one's from Nova Scotia. Pretty beachy water scenes. And vintage coaster and a guest check. Some vintage stationery. This is that yacht ledger. A poppy seed packet. And a vintage playing card. This is a vintage photo. Somebody wrote 1960, but the date on here is July 6, 1959. So you could turn that into a journaling card. Like I said, a lot of the same elements in a different way, used in a different way. And a lot of things clipped on so that you can move it around and use it how you would like to use it. Another pocket with the Swiss dot fabric and some extra little ephemera. Magazine page. This is a pocket here. This is an extra page from the magazine, and you can add a page to each side to create a whole nother page in your journal. You just kind of use this as a hinge. This is from a National Geographic magazine. This is just a journaling spot. Another patch fabric pocket, and a bingo card and a playing card. Another photograph from marked 1960. And then this photo I thought was perfect for the Barbie's Hawaiian holiday because the images in the background remind me of something very, very tropical and Hawaiian. The little hibiscus and the different yard decorations. So that is Barbie's Hawaiian holiday. And last I will do Barbie's New York summer. So this one is about the same size, 8 1/4 by 5 1/4, has a 2 1/4 inch spine and 3 signatures. Well, some wear, they all have wear. These are books that were fairly old. I did use a magic eraser to clean them, but they didn't all come perfectly. I didn't get all the little marks off. So again, the same copyright date, 1962, 1958. This one I did not put the book plate on. You could add that wherever you would like to add it. There's some vintage trim. A lot of the same elements. So I will go quickly through this one. Different magazine pages. That atlas paper, this is of New York. The atlas that I used in here is of New York. This one's July 4th, 1947 is the date on that diary entry. This is the post-it note. This I did the same way that I did the tags. I just used some of the cutoffs and created a little tuck spot and stitched around it. This is a postcard. This one's marked 1912. I kept it sealed in the original packaging that I got it in, but it's St. Luke's Hospital in Morningside Park, New York. So it's a pretty image. I'm not sure if that's, I would be curious to know if that's even still there. This is some flocked fabric that I stitched to some cardstock to create a little journaling card. Another patchwork pocket. This is just from the scrapbook paper line, a little postcard, and a memo sheet. This is an applique. Some hand-dyed paper. Typewriter paper. This is from an Ideals magazine, and it's a poem about New York. And these are tuck spots here. And this is also a tuck spot. This is a vintage playing card with some play money and a library card. This is a postcard of the Statue of Liberty. This is so pretty. I love the colors. And this one is not used. Hasn't been written on. And like I said, I kept it in the plastic there. Another flower journaling card. That pretty trim I love. And let's see, this one's Brooklyn Bridge, New York. And this one's written on, and I think it says 1910. So you could turn those into tuck spots if you wanted to. Obviously, you could put some paper over this and use it as a journaling card, or just keep it as a little piece of ephemera. This is a vintage playing card and another paper doily. One of those same pockets. And then some pieces from the scrapbook paper line and a little journaling card here. An envelope with a library card in it. The bingo card. Another one of my pockets that I made. Tag pockets that you could write on the back of with some goodies in here. This is another poem from an Ideals magazine. And more New York Atlas paper. Music paper. The vintage coaster, vintage trim. This is more vintage trim here. And this is an optional tuck spot. If you didn't want to use it as a tuck spot, you could just attach it down and use this just to write next to it. But it's pretty kind of seashells on the other half of that poem page. And then there's a tuck spot here. This is an image from the other side of the magazine page. And then I just stuck some journaling spots in here and another garden flower card you can alter. This is a pocket that I did as a flip out so you have extra space. And then these are some fabric tags. This is some flocked fabric and some ticking fabric, pink ticking fabric that I made into journaling spots. And that is the end of Barbie's New York summer. So I hope you enjoyed these flip throughs. If you have any questions, let me know or leave a comment. And like I said, these will be available tomorrow evening at 8 o'clock, June 16th in my Etsy shop. So I hope you have a good day and I hope you enjoyed the flip through. Thank you.